Hi there, Karen Valerdi from Living by Human Design. Hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to be talking about the gate 15, which is typically called the gate of extremes or the love of humanity. Okay, so we've got the sun in gate 15, which started June 19th in the morning and goes until June 24th, late in the day. We've got the earth in gate 10, which is the gate of self-love. And so the 15 and the 10 both come off the G. The 10 is on the left and the 15 goes down toward the sacral. And these are the two gates that are up in the conscious sun and earth this week. And so they're part of the vessel of love in terms of the incarnation crosses, and are really kind of a feel-good kind of energy, because it's all about the start of summer in the Northern Hemisphere, winter in the Southern Hemisphere. We've got, lots of greenery, lots of people starting to take vacations and all that good stuff going on. So it's a really feel good summertime kind of energy, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. So we've got just the 4323 defined at the start of the week, but then by the 23rd, we add in the 1020, because there's the gate 20 moves into Venus, and it creates this channel of the 10 and the 20, which is called the channel of awakening, also called blazing saddles, because it can be very confrontational in terms of guilting and blaming people. That's part of the 10, and the 20 is all about speaking in the moment. So watch out for that one. Luckily, that's only here for a few days. And then the 3536 gets defined as well, because the 35 moves into Mercury for about a week. And so we will have that emotional energy for the rest of the week and then into the following week, because that will stay around for a while. The 36 is still in Neptune down here for a long-term transit, and that 35 is up here in Mercury, which, as I said, will be here for about a week. So those are the energies to watch for this week. So the gate 15 is typically called the gate of extremes, or the love of humanity. Also modesty in the original I Ching. It's the quality of behavior which expresses the proper balance between extremes. And so while the gate 5, which is the other half of the channel, is very much about rhythms and patterns, this is just the opposite. It's extremes. It's being able to, either traveling wise, or working, or taking care of children. It's the love of humanity. It's basically about taking care of, but in the sense that you can do it for long periods of time. It's that kind of energy. It's a very a giving, generous energy, in that these things have to be taken care of. You don't let a baby cry all night just because you're exhausted, right? It's that kind of get up and go energy that allows you to keep going and going, even though, and it comes from the G, right? It's all about self-love, self-direction, making sure that everybody gets taken care of, not just you. And so the energy here is one of a love of humanity. It's about, we can't understand why there are wars. We can't understand why people would go around shooting each other. We can't understand why people don't just get along, basically. It's that kind of energy. And so the incarnation crosses this week are the cross of the vessel of love, no surprise there, the gate of the channel of extremes, or the cross of extremes, and the cross of prevention. And then it's paired with self-love in the gate 10. So this is called treading, or the behavior of self in the original I Ching. And so this is the underlying code of behavior which ensures successful interaction despite circumstances. It's about basically loving ourselves, but then empowering others in those successful interactions, right? So that we can be with others and empower them and help them to reach their own potential, right? So in the Gene Key, self-obsession is the shadow, naturalness is the gift, and being is the CD. Because really, it's just about being who you are, being what you're here to do. So in the in the gene keys, we've got the gene key 15. Here, the shadow is dullness, the gift is magnetism, and the CD is fluorescence. So in the graphic, Richard says, to live closely to the earth's natural rhythms is to experience the wisdom and clarity that comes of moving more slowly through the world. And so if you can imagine if we're going with the earth's natural rhythms, and those can be extreme at times, we'll experience the wisdom that comes from moving more slowly through the world, that we don't have to rush all the time, that we don't have to keep up with everybody else, that we can have our own natural rhythm and be in nature or be with children or be with our pets and have a rhythm, a natural rhythm that just flows. Because that's what this 15, this entire channel is about. The 15 and the 5 is all about the energy of flowing with the circumstances, with the need of the hour, whether it's the children, the pets, or the family or friends, that you can be responsive in the moment. And so the dullness is is explained as only the human neocortex makes dullness possible. Our attitude affects life's events. Experience mirrors attitude. And so attitude is one of the great mysteries of life because its source is indefinable. And that's where this attitude comes from, the gate 15 or the gene key 15. It's pretty much where it resides. It's this love of humanity that can be, when it's tamped down, when it's on the shadow side, it can actually be dullness. It can actually be a lack of magnetism, right? A lack of fluorescence, a lack of humanity, really. But when you are having that love for humanity, that love for nature, the love for the pets and the family and the friends and everybody around you, and really creating this feeling of oneness, it's pretty magnetic. It's the kind of energy that people want to be around. And so it's something for us to strive for, right? It's something to really, and you don't need to possess the gate 15 in your chart to have this magnetism, which is pretty cool. Got a number of personalities this week who are born with the sun gate 15 in their conscious sun. And so many of them are the right angle cross of the vessel of love. Some of them are the cross of extremes, and some of the cross of prevention. But you can see there are a lot of kind of big personalities here, like a Bob Fosse or Joe Papp, Mick Fleetwood, right? Nicole Kidman, Meryl Streep, Prince William, who we'll be talking about, Carly Simon, George Orwell, Lou Gehrig, people who really made made a mark on the world, and we're not shy about it many times. So now let's talk about Prince William. So Prince William of Cambridge was born on June 21st, 1982 in London, England. He's the manifesting generator with a 2-5 profile, and he is a right angle cross of the vessel of love. So within the royal family, his official title is His Royal Highness Prince William of Wales, the Duke of Cambridge, the Earl of Strathearn, and the Baron of Carrickfergus. So quite a title, quite a mouthful. And he does have that vessel of love, and you can kind of see it in the way he interacts with the children, with his wife, with the rest of the family. He is, a favorite within the family. Just by the way, he and Harry are both manifesting generators. Prince Charles is a generator, and Princess Diana was a projector. And so if you take a look at Prince William's chart, if you look at his chart, he's got a number of different channels here, but he does have an open head and ajna. And I'll mention that just because with the open head and ajna, it makes him a little more open to seeing that there might be a different way forward for the royal family and the crown in England. So he's got a divine throat, so he can be heard, but he's got this 2-5 profile, which the 2 is the hermit. That's his preferred way of being. He'd rather be home with the kids and the family on a Friday night than out at an event. And you can see that kind of hesitancy with, it's almost like Catherine is able to get him out but he probably wouldn't go of his own accord. He's also got the 5 in his profile, which is a projection field, and so people are projecting upon him. And you can imagine in the scrutiny that comes with that when you're part of the royal family. So overall, he is not a natural, let's just say that, when it comes to being in the line of succession for being king. And I even saw a quote in the past week after the Queen's Jubilee that he's starting to feel as if, or at least it's, he's realizing that her days are numbered, and that there will be a time soon when the Queen is no longer around, and it's him and his father, Prince Charles and Prince William, who will be basically in charge of things, and that will look quite different than what it looks like now, most likely. He does have so that open-headed ajna gives him a lot of different ways of thinking. He does have a lot of ideas. He's got the gate 11, and he has that twice in his chart, both conscious and unconscious. He's got this channel of talent, which is interesting, right? It's the gate of enthusiasm with the 16, and the gate 48, which is the gate of depth, which means that he's very studious, very much wanting to know everything there is to know about the royal family and about the firm and how to run it in the future. He does have the gate 13 coming off the top of the G, which is the gate of the listener. So he's a good listener. 8 is the gate of making a creative contribution to the world, and it is on a larger scale. 25 is the love of spirit. 46 is the love of the flesh. 15 is the love of humanity, and the 10 is the love of the self. So he has the 4 love gates, all 4 love gates, and just one of the leadership gates, which is that gate of the listener. And so it makes him a little less likely to be an alpha dog kind of king, as opposed to some other people who might be around. And then the 10 is connected to the 57, which is the entire channel of, we call it the channel of perfected form, because 57 is all about making intuitive or being very intuitive. And it's actually the gate of intuition. It is a fear of the future, unfortunately. And then the 57 connects to the 34. The 34 is all about multitasking and power, literally power in this chart. And it connects to the 57. So we've got that's the channel of power. And then the 10 to the 34. So we've got a few different connections here. The 10 to the 34 is the channel of exploration. And that's all about being a leader. It's a kind of a leadership. It's the kind of thing where he will explore on his own and everybody will follow. So while he doesn't have the typical alpha leadership gates and channels here, he does have this one, and he has this exploratory nature that he'll want to find out how to do things perhaps in a better way, and in a better way. The 18 is very helpful there because it's the gate of correction, and this 5710, the perfected form, is, I always like to call it it's basically the Navy SEAL channel, and he was in the he was in the military. He worked in the military for quite a long time, and he was on rescue missions. And this 5710 is perfect for that, because basically the 5710 is all about knowing intuitively how to save yourself, because the 10 is all about love of the self, and the 57 is intuitive knowing. And so with the 57 and the 10, we call it the channel of perfected form, because basically they will survive. If you're in a plane crash, this is the person you want to follow out of the plane crash, or out of the boat, or whatever it is that's in trouble, because he will find a way. And so in a way, it is a leadership kind of energy. Same thing with the channel of exploration. It is a leadership energy where he will try perhaps something new. He'll explore something that will be a little different, but in the end, people will follow him as a result. He might be on the cutting edge. He might be on the bleeding edge at times, but people will follow him naturally. Interesting that he does have the sacral defined, but he only has one of the defense circuit. gates, and that's the gate of values. So he will, I think in the end, he will keep the values of the monarchy, but he might do it in a very different way. He's also got the 3254, which is the gate of, the channel of transformation. It's all about having a business, the firm, and ambition. So he does, while he might be quiet about it, he does have ambition. 38 is about knowing what's fighting for. So when the confrontations come or the battles come, he'll know what's worth doing. As I said, he's got the 18, which is all about editing and improving and correcting things, especially things from the past. And then coming off the top of the root, he's got the 53 and the 52. 52 is all about concentration. So he'll, when he needs to get a project done, he will. 53 is about starting things. So he might be starting quite a few new things. And then finally, the 3955, we've got the root defined. So he's not going to be pressured by others. And he's got this 3955 up to the solar plexus, which is a very emotional channel. It's called the channel of emoting. 39 is about provocation. So he can be a little bit of a tease sometimes. And the 55 is spiritual abundance. So he'll know how to basically bring the kingdom to a place of stability and taking care of everyone and being able to provide for the kingdom. And for his family and himself as well, but eventually for the kingdom. He does have this emotional solar plexus defined, and so he will be someone who is relatively emotional. As I said, it's high highs and low lows for that 3955. It as a manifesting generator, he's got that voice which can be heard easily. He's got the energy of the sacral that can keep him going and going and going. And overall, it's a very interesting chart for someone who's in line to be the King of England at some point. So happy birthday, William. And he will be 40, actually. So interesting that Sir Paul McCartney was turning 80 last week, and Prince William will be all of 40. So quite a big difference in ages there, but still both well-known Englishmen, and both having birthdays in the same week. So happy birthday. And for you this week, hopefully it'll be a vibrant and blooming kind of blossoming energy of the 15, and watch for things that will come up that might be a little more humane, a little more understanding, a little more taking in that love of humanity than the previous week. And with and there may even be the opportunity for some changes in Ukraine and Russia if this energy plays out the way it usually does. So we can all intend and pray for that. Take care, and I hope you have a wonderful week.